Welcome, I'm Amy. In this quick walkthrough, I'm going to show you how to set up the PBIS Behavior Referral Starter Kit. This is the starter version, which means it gives you the referral workflow, the Google form, email notifications, admin response process, staff launch materials, and testing tools. It does not include the dashboard system. By the end of this video, you'll have your own copy of the system. Your referral form will be created and homerooms connected, and your workflow will be tested. Let's get started by looking at the quick start guide. Here, if you scroll to page 2, you'll find your Launch Hub. The large green button we are going to click in just a moment is going to help us to make a copy of the starter kit. The smaller buttons down below are resources that you can refer back to later. Let's get started by clicking the large green button. Here, you'll be forced to make a copy. Click the blue button. As this generates, it is going to be running the attached script. So if you will wait about 10 seconds here, we're going to watch to see where a function will appear that says Referral Starter Kit. Be patient. As you see, it is now popped up. If yours does not pop up after about 20 seconds, refresh the screen. If it still does not pop up, close out and make a new copy. Let's begin by initiating the form. We're going to click the Referral Starter Kit at the top. The drop-down button will come down and you'll select number 1, Initial Setup. From here, it's going to ask for authorization. This is in order to run the script is going to be needed to connect to your Google Drive system. You're going to want to give it authorization. If you do not, the entire system is moot. Hit OK. The next page is going to ask again to have the access to all of the Google Drive. Select all, scroll to the bottom and hit continue. From here, prompts are going to come up to ask you to set up your own custom system. It's going to ask you what your school name is. I'm going to use Testing Elementary. It's going to ask you for what school year you are building this for. It's going to ask for the administrator email address to receive initial referral notifications. This is the email that is going to be given to every single submission of a referral form. So make sure that you type in the correct name and you have the spelling perfect, or it will not work as intended. You may also add more than one person by separating with a comma, space, and then add another person. I only need one person for this time. The next question is going to ask for an admin password. This will allow access only to the admin to be able to do the Section 2 admin action response. So keep it simple enough that you can remember and make sure that you just do not give this password out to others if you do not want them to have the ability to access the step number 2. The next is going to ask you for your student information system that you use for your district. The next one is what I have added to this Google form, which I find extremely valuable. If the original initiator of the referral is not the homeroom teacher, this portion will allow the homeroom teacher to also be CC'd on the emails so that they are aware of what is going on with their student. I highly suggest that you select yes for this one. If you do not want your homeroom teachers, you just hit no. But again, it's extremely valuable that all teachers know what's going on with their students. So I hit yes here. It's then going to ask you if it can generate the homeroom teacher tab. Select yes again. The next few prompts are to give your staff options for the types of referrals that they are submitting. This is going to change the email subject line based off of the referral. If you would like your staff to have the option to have a documentation only for this referral, meaning that it was managed within the classroom, but we are still documenting the behavior for future reference. If you would like to have that option, you hit yes. The next is going to ask for an admin action response is required. Hit yes again. The next is going to ask if you have an urgent response required. So if you are having a more higher major referral happening, maybe a student injury or a staff injury occurred, or if it is needed to have a faster response, then you can select yes for this one. If you have a different system that you do not need this one, of course you can hit no. Otherwise, select yes. And the final one is for guidance requested. Maybe your staff is not sure whether or not an admin is needed to have a response to this, so they could hit yes for this one. If not, otherwise, you don't feel like you need that one, you can select no. The final prompt is going to ask if you're ready to create the referral starter kit. Select yes, and then it will start to run the script in the background. This is going to take a few seconds because it's generating a Google form for you. It's going to update the settings and set startup tab. It's going to generate a homeroom tab as well, where you can then connect your homeroom teachers to the Google form. After it has done generating the script, it will then pop up one final thing to let you know that it has been complete. Select OK. We're going to jump back to the Setup Start Here tab. Here you'll see where it has customized your settings based off of your school name, your email address. It has generated a editing Google form as well as a live referral form link. There's also instructions of what to do down below, and important of do not rename required form questions. We'll talk about that in the editing form. Go ahead and click the link for the Google form edit link. In the editing form, there's a few things that I want you to take note of. I'm not going to go through this entire form at this time. I'll go through it more in depth when we look at the live version. But for now, I want to start with where it's first asking, where it's collecting emails at this time. I highly suggest changing this to verified emails so that all of your staff just have to click the box and they don't have to spend the time to type out their email and making sure that it's correct. This will just make sure that the email goes to the correct person in case there's a typo. So this takes that out of the window by hitting that change settings, changing responder input, and you're going to select verified instead. Hop back over to questions. There are some components to this where you can customize it. However, I want you to take note that this very first section where it says entry type, there are two different entry types. There's an initial referral as well as the admin response, which again, we'll go into more in depth what the two are. But just know for now, when you're going to take your time to customize this, that this is a no-go. Please do not change this question type at all because it will then mess up the entire system. So leave this one be. Moving down, if you change your mind about any of the admin actions that we were prompted to ask for before, you are welcome to come in and delete the ones that you no longer would like. But what you do not want to do is change the question at the top. Please make sure that that stays the same. Moving on down, again, all of the options are available for customization for what you need. Just make sure we're not changing those top questions. All the way down, change what you need for grade. Do not change grade. Okay. I gave you a gamut of behaviors that you might encounter at your school. Feel free to remove the ones that you no longer need or add ones if I miss one that you commonly see. Go through this with your behavior team to make sure that it is what your behavior team wants and that your staff would understand what each of them are. Again, we'll go through the rest of this in person. So I'm going to X out for now, but just note that you can change the options, but please do not change the questions. All right. So I'm going to now close out of this. From here, we're going to go ahead and jump over to Homeroom Teacher Map. The Homeroom Teacher Map allows you to input teachers' names and their emails so that as I was stating before, if you would like your homeroom teachers to be CC'd on any referral that has to do with their student, they will be able to know what action was required, what follow-up the parent received, so that they are aware and in the loop of what's going on with their students. All you need to do here is you would then change the teacher's name. This is the display name that will be in the Google form. So I'm just going to use the last name here. And then their email. So Smith Tanya at abc.org. You may add to this just by selecting on if you want to insert a row below, insert a row above, you can do so. All you need to do to copy and paste the same thing is to just drag from the corner. Let me show you that again. You click that blue dot, you'll see the guide show you to just drag down. It just formats and copies it to the next row down below. So all you now need to do is change this to another teacher. John Doe. Okay. Make sure that the active is also on, because that's going to, when we sync up here, it will allow all of the names to be pulled into the Google form. Just like when we were talking about the administrator email, if you have more than one teacher or co-teachers in the classroom, you can add two emails to the same line by putting a comma and then separating and then typing in the next teacher's email address. Okay. I'm not going to fill out all of this for now, but take the time, pause for now, fill out your sheet to have all of your teachers' names. Once you are ready, begin again, and I'm going to show you our next step. After now that you have created all of your teachers' names into this sheet, we're going to come back up to Referral Starter Kit. We're going to drop down that menu to number 4, Update Form Homerooms or Map. The script is going to run in the background, and then it's going to tell you when it has been completed. Hit OK. And now let's go back to our Setup tab, and let's start our test. Okay, so I'm going to hit open our live referral form. And as we said before, we're recording those verified email addresses. So the teacher is not going to need to type in their email address. All they have to do is click the box. That entry type, when you train your staff, you're going to want to train them that the only one that they should be selecting is initial referral. The only people that you would like to do an admin response is for your assistant principals or behavior specialists or whoever is actually giving the admin response. So make sure that all staff members know initial referral only is what they should be selecting. If they accidentally do select admin response, that's why that password was generated, so that they're not going to be able to submit the form without having that password. So if they know if they get to section 2, they've done something wrong and they need to come back and select initial referral only. Scrolling down, next is an admin action requested. For this test, we're going to just say yes, an admin follow-up is requested. A homeroom teacher, as you can see, the two that I put in are now here in our Google form. I'm just going to select one so it doesn't generate a problem here. Please note that if the original referral is the same person as the homeroom, they're not going to receive multiple emails. The system knows that they only send the email to the homeroom teacher as well if it is a different email than what the verified email was at the top. All right, up next, we're just going to start to input our referral. We select our grade, select the date, select the time window, location, and this one, we have a physical contact. For description of incident, I feel that this is an important training for your staff as well. We keep our incidences brief. We keep it factual. This is not an opinion. We do not need to know what the staff member feels that the administration should do. None of that needs to happen. Keep it factual, short. 1 to 2 sentences so that we get the gist of what happened, and then we can start our own investigation as needed. So student A pushed student B, and student B responded by pushing student A. Student A fell to the ground and scraped their knees and hands. So as you can see, I have more than one student involved in this, and this is also something that I will show you with the email generated, how a new tool that I've also added in here is extremely helpful, because this referral actually would state that 2 different students should be receiving the referral. And there's nothing more frustrating than having to fill out the same referral twice. So I will show you how in just a moment that the email will generate a duplicate. So give just a quick second and we'll show you that in a moment. Others involved. So this is where they put the student names. We have them put student A here and student B because this is what we can copy and paste directly into our student information system. Here is where they can then put the names, because this is where we want to make sure that we know who is all involved. So student A was Charlie, student B is Snoopy. We'll come back to Snoopy in just a moment. The possible reason for motivation was for peer attention here. There was no previous consequences that happened. If the staff member has contacted the parent already about this, I would like to know. Otherwise, they will say not contacting parents at this time. If there were any notes that they did, to put them here. Was there an injury or a physical safety concern? Yes, a student injury did occur, this one. Is this a pattern that has already been happening for the student? We'll say at this time, no, this appears to be isolated. From here, we're going to hit next. The next page will bring us to hit submit. And if all goes well after we hit submit, within about 30 seconds, an email should generate into my inbox. So let's hit submit. And we're going to cross our fingers on this tester that all things have gone well. I'm going to hop over to our email and we'll see in live action here how quickly it takes, boom, for that email to come in. So as you can see, it was pretty instant. And as I can see now in the response required, it says that it says response required, but it doesn't say urgent. And it doesn't say documentation only. We'll do another one in just a moment. So hit this. It's going to give you that summary as well as the description of the incident and who those students were. As I was saying, because this is involving Snoopy as well, and Snoopy has also been involved in physical contact, we're going to hit add another student to the same incident down here below. We're again going to collect that email address. Now Snoopy is going to be involved. It's the same, although I do want to change one thing just so you can see that the email comes in differently. Not necessarily that this incident would require an immediate support needed, but we're going to hit yes just so that you can see the different subject line here. So yes, and that's it. That's all that they needed to do. Everything else remains the same. They can hit next. And now that was so much easier when we asked them to please make sure that every student has a separate incident. That helps us to track that data for our students who are involved in multiple incidences throughout the year for our MTSS processes. Hit submit again, and again we'll see another email will generate into my inbox. There it is. And now you can see that the subject line is different. It now says urgent response required. Clicking on this, now you can see also at the top where it says open the submission admin response link. From here, it's going to open up that referral form. And this is where the administrator is going to select admin response instead of initial response. We can review it again. And then we're going to hit next. It will then bring us to section 2. For here, we're going to select our admin action that we're going to take here. So in this one, I'm going to do an admin conference one-on-one with each student, doing a little bit of an investigation. I'm going to be contacting parents. I'm also going to be having a cool down reflection time, as this is their first incident of having hands-on behavior. Moving on down, I'm going to, if there was a removal from assigned instructional environment, there might have been for a brief period of time to do that cool down as well as that reflection period. This is only going to occur for one day. Yes, I'm going to need to insert this incident into my student information system. For the administrative comments to a referring staff, these are notes that will be emailed back to the original staff member so that they know that there was an action taken. It was also going to be sent to that homeroom teacher if it is a different staff member, so they're aware of what consequence was issued to their student, as well as what information was given to the parent. So let's say in this situation that student participated in a restorative circle, the student contacted the parent with the principal to inform of the incident. A reflection was completed to take home and discuss further with the parent. Student is to bring back that returned signed reflection tomorrow. If not, further admin consequences will follow. I'm going to make an admin note to myself, reminder to check for reflection. And now I'm ready to indicate that this is indeed an administrator filling out this section, hitting in my password. If this is incorrect, it will now not allow me to hit submit. So I'm going to hit submit. And from here, we're going to see that the response is going to come into my inbox. There it is, admin response submitted. Here, it will tell the staff member exactly what happened. It will give them that submission link to the form so they can revisit the form if they would like to. But all the information that the staff member needs to know is now here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to exit out of these referrals for now, and I'm going to come back to our sheet. For here, if you come over to the form responses, you will see that we now have the 2 referrals that were input for both Charlie as well as Snoopy. Snoopy has been closed. You can see that the entry type is now admin response. We can also see that Charlie's is still open. So if we scroll over down, it's going to give you all the information that was on the form. I just also want you to note that the submission link is also still here. So if I can't find this referral anymore in my email, you also still have the submission link right here at your fingertips. Sometimes we get super busy, we forget to do that component of doing the response, but it's always still there, so you can hop back in just by looking at the Google Sheet. Now I'm going to also close out Charlie's with the same thing. Charlie should have had his hands to himself. All right, we're going to do that with a brief one. And yes, this is going to need to go in. Just going to have the same response. And again, I'm going to remind myself, reminder to check for reflection. Close out that behavior. Yes. And hit submit. If I hop back over to our sheet here, I can now see that it has instantly been updated. All right, that's it. You have tested the system. It is now working. If you want to do a couple more, checking the different responses so that you can see the subject line, you should do so now before you launch that staff email and your staff training. I do have some resources here that talk about how to, if you need a generated, already ready to go instruction for your staff, I do highly suggest, if this is the first time that you're doing this with the staff, to add this to a training at the beginning of the school year so that they can test and play around. Now, while you're in testing mode, you can have your staff tested as well. When you're ready to actually get going, no more testing, everybody has played around with the system, we're going to come back to the Referral Starter Kit And we're going to clear the test data so that we don't have any of this in our Google Sheet. So let's go ahead and select number 8. It's going to clear all of our test rows so that we're ready to start fresh. Do not delete them, as it could mess up the system. So again, Referral Starter Kit, drop down to number 8, clear test data. The script is going to run. You're going to be prompted to double check that you for sure want to delete all of the rows that have been created. Click clear, all caps, okay. It's going to finish running that script, and now it is done. All right, okay. Let's go back to our quick guide and come back to our Launch Hub here. Our Launch Hub is going to have the implementation manual. So at any time, all of the information that I just went through is in written form in number 2. There's some basic troubleshooting guide I gave you as I was talking along, but in case you were not watching, there's here. A staff launch email is also an option for you if you just want to give a follow-up to your staff after a training. It'll tell you that. You also then have staff instructions, again, as a follow-up to this tutorial and your training. And you have a final launch checklist to make sure before you're ready to go. Make sure that you're following these checklists, get them all checked off, making sure that you've done them all, you've tested it, you've cleaned it up, and you've checked your communication system. All right, from there, I hope this really serves you well. I know it has been such an amazing system for me to have, and I tweak it every year to try to make it even a little bit better. So stay tuned and follow up. And with this purchase, any updates that happen to this system, you will automatically receive. If you have any other additional ideas and input, feedback, I'd love to hear it. I'm always here to learn and make it even better than what it has been. I know that this is not perfect, and each year I find something else that I can tweak and make this even better. So I'm here for your ideas, and I really appreciate your purchase, and I hope you have a great school year. Thank you so much.